Welcome back. All right, so Vancouver, Nashville. This was the series we thought we were going to get, and then it looked like we might not, and then we did. So, for the Vancouver Canucks, it's their first time in the playoffs in a while. And experience is going to be something that's talked about a lot. But once you get into the playoffs, that shouldn't be a huge problem. For the Vancouver Canucks, they finished the season 50, 23, and 9, whereas Nashville finished 47, 30, and 5. One of those teams that ended up with 99 points this year. For the Vancouver Canucks, it's going to come down to just the hard work, being willing to put in the hard work. Dakota Joshua is not on the board. I decided not to put him on the board. I've talked about him a lot lately, but I'm just saying right at the start here, he's going to be an interesting one to keep an eye on. That being said, their high scorer this year, JT Miller. What a career year for him. 81 games, 37 goals, 66 assists, 103 points. Since the All-Star break, a little quieter. 32 games, 16 goals, 20 assists, 36 points. Quinn Hughes, very good totals from him as well. 82 games, 17 goals, 75 assists, 92 points. The expectation is he's going to win the Norris. Since the All-Star break, his scoring slowed down a bit. 33 games, 5 goals, 25 assists, 30 points. Pettersson's going to be under the microscope, isn't he? Played all 82 games, 34 goals, 55 assists, 89 points. But since the All-Star break, 33 games, just 7 goals. Needs to shoot more, needs a little more confidence. 18 assists, 25 points. And if he keeps scoring like that, people are going to wonder, so is his wrist bugging him? Because he's had that injury before. But Pettersson's going to be an interesting one to watch. Brock Besser, 81 games, 40 goals, 33 assists, 73 points. However, he did slow down after a lightning fast start. Past the All-Star break, 32 games, 10 goals, 11 assists, 21 points. And then you got Filip Hronek, 81 games, 5 goals, 43 assists, 48 points. His offense really fell off in the second half. Past the All-Star break, 32 games, 2 goals, 10 assists, 12 points. So for Vancouver, their depth's going to be important. Their defense and their ability to keep the puck out of the net's going to be important. But is there anyone more important to their playoff hopes than Thatcher Demko? 35-14-2 record, 918 save percentage. Past the All-Star break, 9-6-1 record with a 912 save percentage. Of course, he missed a lot of time with injury. They need him 100% throughout this round if they're going to win it, because they're against a pretty solid goaltender playing for Nashville. Nashville's top scorer was Forsberg, and Forsberg is very dangerous. 82 games, 48 goals, 46 assists, 94 points. So close to a 50-goal season. However, those 48 goals, the most ever scored in a season by a member of the Nashville Predators. Since the All-Star break, 31 games, 24 goals, 19 assists, 43 points. That 18-game point streak, Forsberg was a large part of that. Yossi has had an insane run since the All-Star break. Altogether, 82 games, 23 goals, 62 assists, 85 points. He's a dark horse for the Norris, and even though the Norris gets voted on before the playoffs start, you got Hughes on one side, Yossi on the other. This is a very, very interesting matchup. Since the All-Star break, Yossi, 31 games, 13 goals, 27 assists, 40 points. I think he's been the best defenseman in the NHL since the All-Star break. Now, of course, when you're voting for the whole year, so Hughes is very likely to win it for the whole year, but we'll see how this series goes. Nyquist, 81 games, 23 goals, 52 assists, 75 points. Career year for him. Since the All-Star break, he's been even better. 30 games, 11 goals, 26 assists for 37 points. O'Reilly, an incredible bounce back for him. Past, like last year when he went to Toronto, it looked like, maybe things are winding down. No. 82 games, 26 goals, 43 assists, 69 points. Since the All-Star break, he's been right near a point per game. 31 games, 9 goals, 18 assists, 27 points. Tommy Novak, 71 games, 18 goals, 27 assists, 41 points. 31 games since the All-Star break, 10 goals, 12 assists, 22 points. And it does highlight that one thing that'll get talked about a lot is Vancouver's depth definitely looks like it's better than Nashville's depth. And notice I'm saying looks like. Saros' numbers overall, 35, 24, and 5, 906 save percentage. Remember when there was talk of them maybe trading him and this team wasn't in the playoff hunt? Yeah, that changed. Since the All-Star break, he's been 16, 5, and 3 with a 912 save percentage. The numbers aren't too bad. Those numbers are pretty good. So it's going to come down to the goaltenders, I think, in this series, and so we'll see how it goes. Now, during the regular season, Vancouver won all 3 meetings, but they're so long ago. So much like Dallas and Vegas, these teams haven't seen each other in a while either. October 24th, a 3-2 win for Vancouver. October 31st, a 5-2 win for Vancouver. December 19th, also a 5-2 win for Vancouver. And when we look at the numbers, they do favor Vancouver. Goals for by a little bit. 279 for the Canucks, 266 for Nashville. Goals against does favor Vancouver. 221 against for Vancouver, 248 against for Nashville. Power play, it favors the Canucks, not by a lot. 22% or 22.7% for Vancouver, 21.6% for Nashville. It's feast or famine with the Canucks power play as well. The penalty kill, Vancouver has got the better penalty kill, but there's been times lately too where that's been shaky. 79.1% on the penalty kill for Vancouver, 76.9% on the penalty kill for Nashville. They have to be better than that in this series. Hits favor Vancouver, but in terms of combined hits, this might be the hittiest of hit series. 2,178 hits for Vancouver, 2,149 hits for the Nashville Predators. Block shots favors Nashville, 1,265 for Nashville, 1,152 for Vancouver. If they're leading first, well, that's great because both of these teams have shaky records when they don't score first. Vancouver 38-11-4 when they score first. Nashville 35-10-3 when they allow the first goal. Vancouver 12-12-5. Whereas Nashville 12-20-2. So really important to Nashville to get the first goal. For Vancouver, they have about a 500 record. Keeping in mind 12-12-5 is you win 12 out of 29. So, but again, 500 by NHL point standards. It is more important for Nashville that they get the first goal than for Vancouver, but it's not that far off. So if it's a one-goal game, that favors Nashville. 621 points percentage. Vancouver 543. But if it's a two-goal game, then it heavily favors Vancouver. 706 points percentage for them, 550 points percentage for Nashville. If it's a 3 or more goal difference, well, that favors Vancouver. 633 points percentage versus a 545 points percentage for Nashville. The channel vote, 69% for Vancouver at the time I'm recording this. I think this is going to be close. I really, really do. I think this is going to be close. Now, looking through the history for the Canucks since 2020, this is pretty easy. 2020, they lost in round 2 against Vegas in 7 games. Or more importantly, their goaltenders lost in 7 games. Vancouver didn't bring a lot of offense in that series. They got outshot badly, but Markstrom and then Demko gave Vegas fits. And they're going to need that goaltending again if Vancouver's going to have a chance of, coming out of the division and maybe playing in a conference final. 2021, no playoffs. 2022, no playoffs. 2023, no playoffs. And before 2020, no playoffs in 2019, 2018, 2017, 2016. It's been a while. So when I see people, Canucks aren't good enough and they're overrated. Okay, but they're in the playoffs. And they've got home ice advantage. This is the best they've looked since 2011, 2012, really. So Connor Garland, I want to talk about. 82 games, 20 goals, 27 assists, 47 points. He, for me, has been their MVP at times. He has been absolutely fantastic. He is fearless against players that are, 6 or 7 feet taller than he is. It is just remarkable to watch him. And Höglander plays a very similar game. 80 games, 24 goals, 12 assists, 36 points. Höglander basically weathering some really tough years in Vancouver. And I said for years that I thought maybe to get a fair shake in the NHL, Höglander might end up having to play somewhere other than Vancouver. Nope. He's had a remarkable year for Vancouver. Good for him. Elias Lindholm, less remarkable, but 26 games, 6 goals, 6 assists, 12 points since his arrival from Calgary. If Lindholm is able to be productive and play a strong role for Vancouver, that could be a real difference maker that we're not counting on. Kind of that one of those dark horses to be an MVP type, at least for the series, right? Then we go over to the Nashville side of things. 2020, in the qualifying round, they lost against Arizona, 3-1. 2021, they lost in the first round against Carolina, 4-2. 2022, they lost in the first round against Colorado in 4 straight before last year missing the playoffs. So while Nashville's had an incredible run, they've been a team that can get to the playoffs, but in the playoffs they have struggled. 2017, yes, they went all the way to the Stanley Cup final. There aren't very many players left from that run to the Stanley Cup final. So I'm not necessarily betting on a Stanley Cup final run for Nashville, but they do seem to play better as an underdog than they play as a favorite, and we'll see how things go against Vancouver. Colton Sissons, 81 games, 15 goals, 20 assists, 35 points. Strong overall year for Sissons. For McCarron had, I think, the best year he's had in the NHL. 70 games, 12 goals, 10 assists, 22 points. He can drop the gloves, there's toughness there, and he can put the puck in the net here and there when need be. And then the last player on the board for Nashville's Ryan McDonagh. Stanley Cup experience, he has it. 74 games, 3 goals, 29 assists, 32 points. if Nashville's going to win this series, I think going out in Vancouver, silencing the crowd and winning game one gets them halfway there. For Vancouver, because they had those struggles in the second half of the season, if things seem to be going askew in this series, I think that could be a huge benefit to Nashville. And then once you've won a game in Vancouver, all you have to do is hold serve in games 3 and 4 at home. I do remember the series these teams played against each other in 2011. It was a fun series to watch as a Canuck fan. I don't think this is going to be anything like that series was. That was the series where Ryan Kessler really became a megastar with Canuck fans. That was one where he really showed that he could drag a team through a series. And in this case, again, I'm going to say the player that's not on the board, who is Dakota Joshua, might be a guy who can do that for them. Vancouver's going to need their depth, especially if Pettersson's struggles continue. And they're going to need goals from guys that, if you're a Nashville fan, you may not be aware they had a really good year. But yeah, I've done my best to keep everybody up to date on all that. So there you go. It should be a fun one, though. And hopefully, when this series is done, Nashville Preds fans and we can still be friends, right? Right? All right. Anyways, yeah, so there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.